Secretary Kennedy, do you know how much it costs for a 30-day supply of that drug at Costco?
But I would say this, Senator.
Do you know what it costs?
President Trump has a different way of calculating. If there's two ways of calculating percentage. If you have a $600 drug and you reduce it to 10, that's a 600% reduction.
I understand that you know I only have 5 minutes. Do you know what the drug costs at Costco? The drug is $16 at Costco. Trump RX charges $200 for Protonics, and Costco charges $16.
The Secretary of Health and Human Services just admitted on camera, under oath, that he does not know the price of a drug his own administration is actively selling to the American public. Senator Elizabeth Warren had the number ready. It was $16. Trump RX was charging $200 for the exact same medication. What you are about to watch is not a debate about policy. It is a cabinet secretary caught not knowing the basics of his own program, and a senator who did the homework he wouldn't.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, after President Trump and the Republicans slashed health care for millions of families, the president pitched his Trump RX website as the answer for Americans who are worried about health care costs. He claims that Trump RX has reduced prices by as much as 600%, which I think means companies should be paying you to take their drugs. But let's do some real math here. Take one drug, Protonics, a 30-day supply of this heartburn medication, costs $200 on Trump RX, but there is an identical generic version of this pill called pantoprazole. Secretary Kennedy, do you know how much it costs for a 30-day supply of that drug at Costco?
But I would say this, Senator.
Do you know what it costs?
President Trump has a different way of calculating. If there's two ways of calculating percentage. If you have a $600 drug and you reduce it to 10, that's a 600% reduction.
I understand that you know I only have 5 minutes. Do you know what the drug costs at Costco?
I do not.
The drug is $16 at Costco. Trump RX charges $200 for Protonics, and Costco charges $16. Let's do another one. Pitocin is a treatment for heart arrhythmia. It costs $336 on Trump RX, or you can get the generic at Cost Plus Drugs for $12. So you tell me, Mr. Secretary, are patients better off paying $336 on Trump RX or $12 at Cost Plus Drugs?
You're comparing apples to oranges because you're comparing the brand drug to the generic drug.
Yeah, to the exact same drug.
Well, people should be buying the generic, and we will be directing them to generic.
To the exact same drug.
Yeah, we'll be directing them to the generic.
So tell me, Mr. Secretary, you think people ought to be paying $336 instead of $12?
Well, a lot of doctors prescribe the brand, so we're giving them 600% reductions on the brand. We will be directing them to the generic whenever it's available. You know,
so here's the thing. We know about brand names versus generic. It's a big pharma talking point in order to fool people into buying a more expensive drug. The generic is chemically the same. And here's the thing. If you're buying a drug on Trump RX, there is a more than 1 in 4 chance that Trump's discount is actually a price hike. And for an anti-big pharma guy, you sure don't seem worried about steering patients to more expensive drugs that are going to pad big pharma's profits. But there's more in this deal. In exchange for these scam discounts, President Trump has exempted these drug companies from his 100% tariffs. So think about that. Big Pharma makes billions of dollars in tariff relief by listing their drugs on Trump RX, and then they don't even lower the costs on many of these drugs. That is a great deal for Big Pharma. So, Secretary Kennedy, here's my question. Did you sign off on these sweetheart deals for Big Pharma, or was this all President Trump's idea?
The tariff relief is only applicable if the company has agreed to produce the drug in America. They have 1 year to do so.
Well,
and then they don't get the tariff relief, and then it is going to bankrupt them.
so you're the one who negotiated these?
Did I negotiate the deal?
You negotiated these deals. Will you make those deals available to us so we can see them?
I didn't personally negotiate them.
All right. Did your team negotiate these deals?
Yes.
Will you make those deals available to us so we can see them? A little transparency?
We will make I've already said this. I'm happy to make the deals available, except for proprietary information and trade secrets, which, when you pass the IRA...
I will hold you to that, Mr. Secretary, because if these deals with Big Pharma are so great for Americans, then we should be able to see what promises have been made.
You have the power to make this deal yourself. Why don't you do that? Why did you? We did this because you refused to do
I
it.
think what we've got is Trump University.
You have a lot more power to negotiate than we do.
Stakes.
We got the lowest prices in history.
By healthcare costs, and you and Donald Trump are actually making the problem worse. The American public deserves better.
The millions of people who are using Trump RX disagree with you. I said the millions of people who are using Trump RX disagree with you.
They got a better than 1 out of 4 chance of paying more at Trump RX than they would if they went to Costco. That's not much of a deal for the American people.
Not on branded drugs.
Oh, so your answer is Americans should just not take prescription drugs?
We are directing people, we will be directing people to the generics, the cheapest available, but a lot of doctors prescribe the brands, and we're giving them massive reductions in the brands.
So those mass discounts
Massive.
are that people can pay
600%.
600%. They can pay hundreds of dollars
or more
on Trump RX, or they can get it for $12 at Costco.
This is the second instance of the Secretary denying the public's right to know. That's all that the members on this committee have asked for.
What you just watched was not a slip. It was a window. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sat in front of the Senate Finance Committee as the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the man in charge of the health of 330 million Americans, and admitted he did not know the price of a drug that his administration's flagship healthcare program was selling. Senator Elizabeth Warren did. She had the receipts. Protonix, $200 on Trump RX, $16 at Costco. Sotalol, a treatment for heart arrhythmia, $336 on Trump RX, $12 at Cost Plus Drugs. That is not a discount program. That is a price hike with a presidential logo on it. But Warren did not stop at the numbers. She laid out the architecture underneath them. In exchange for listing their drugs on Trump RX, pharmaceutical companies received exemptions from President Trump's own 100% tariffs. So here is what the deal actually looks like. Big Pharma lists brand-name drugs on a government website at prices that are in some cases 12 times higher than the generic equivalent, and in return, they get billions of dollars in tariff relief. The companies profit twice. Once from the inflated prices Americans pay, and once from the tariff exemptions the White House handed them. Warren called it what it is, a sweetheart deal. Kennedy had no answer for it. What made this exchange particularly revealing was the moment Kennedy stopped defending the policy and started attacking Warren instead. When she pressed him on whether he negotiated the deals and whether the public could see them, he pivoted. "You have the power to make this deal yourself," he said, raising his voice. "We did this because you refused to do it." That is the tell. When a cabinet secretary abandons the argument and reaches for the accusation, it means the argument is gone. Kennedy knows the numbers do not hold up. He proved it 30 seconds earlier when he admitted he did not know the Costco price. The stakes here go beyond one website. Warren flagged that more than 1 in 4 drugs listed on Trump RX carry a price that is actually higher than what Americans would pay by walking into a discount pharmacy. This is the administration's answer to the healthcare affordability crisis that helped sweep them into office. It is not working for patients. It is working for the companies that received the tariff carve-outs. And the man running the Department of Health and Human Services either did not know that, or did not want to say it out loud in a Senate hearing room. Watch for what comes next. Kennedy promised the deals would be made available to the committee, minus proprietary information and trade secrets. Warren said she would hold him to it. If those documents surface, they will tell the full story of what was actually promised to pharmaceutical companies in exchange for listing on Trump RX. If they do not surface, that answer is its own story. If you think accountability in that hearing room actually matters, you already know what to do. Share this. The people who need to see it probably will not go looking for it themselves.